Hey, on This Is Gravel, we have Curt-O-Dirt-O from Stillwater, Oklahoma. We have Old Man Winter in Colorado. A little bit of social media. What else you got?
Warm weather in Florida, baby.
Hey, welcome to This Is Gravel. I am Bobby Thompson. Sitting next to me today, as always, is
Neil Taylor.
Neil, what's going on, sir?
Oh, well, hanging out with a bunch of princesses recently. You know, going down to Disney World. Family,
that
a little
makes sense.
vacation, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Had a good time, did some Jedi training, things of that nature. But before that, I actually was able to get back kind of on track with my training coming up for this land run double. Healed up from my injury that I talked about last time, so I've been back at running, a little bit more intense cycling as well, and feeling pretty good. Can't complain too much, Bobby. What have you been up to, man?
I am always riding my bike.
Awesome. No running?
No, I ran the other day when I can't even say that with a straight face. No, there's been no running whatsoever. I will admit it's been a lot of Zwifting right now. So it's cold outside, and I did, we'll talk about it here a little bit later, but took a crew up to the Old Man Winter Rally in Colorado, and apparently it's still winter in Colorado. So I had no idea. So, yeah, it's been a good time. It's been busy winter. So, Matt though recently has gotten down to a little bit warmer weather in Oklahoma. Yeah, that's true. They didn't have the heat wave that we thought they would, but the Curto-Dirt-O down there. So, Matt, how was it?
Thanks, Bobby and Neil. As many of our followers are probably aware, we've all seen the event the crew down at District Bikes in Stillwater, Oklahoma has been promoting, the Curt-O-Dirt-O, to support their friend Kurt Dykes that's battling a fight with cancer right now. This past weekend, we made the trip down to Stillwater to check out this amazing fundraiser. Let's take a look.
For those of you who don't know, this is Curto.
Well, Curto's been a close friend of mine for a long time and worked here at the bike shop for several years. And he woke up right after Thanksgiving and had some crazy stuff going on. Woke up, didn't know where he was, didn't know what he was doing, and got to the hospital. They figured out he had a brain tumor in his head. So at that point, like, I think everyone's had friends that terrible things have happened to, and you want to find a way to help. So I told him it's this selfish thing for me to feel like I'm getting to do something. So we were just sitting at the bar here in the shop kicking ideas around and just decided to, hey, why don't you call Moots and see if they'll help us out with something. And then that just cascaded from there after Moots agreed to help us out. And then Kurt worked at Victoria for a long time, so called Victoria, who hooked us up with 3T, hooked us up with SRAM, so we got connections all over the place. Industry friends, local buddies, everybody just stepping up to help out. And most of the people here don't know Kurt. A few of them have met Kurt, but hasn't lived here in Stillwater in a while, hasn't been in the gravel world in a few years, but still, when friends need something, then that's what you do. You step up and help. It's been tremendous, just crazy.
Curto.
It was so nice. It's just like everybody came in for one big hug, and like I don't even think that most of the people here even know Kurt personally, and they just dropped everything to be here on a freezing cold weekend and ride in like miserable conditions for this. And I think that says a lot about this community in general, is like as soon as if one of us needs help, then we're all kind of there for them. much in the same way that if that was happening to me or you, like I would do it. I would do it for anybody that cares about this and loves riding bikes.
Good.
Good.
Huge thank you. I mean, thank you to everybody that helped out. Moots, Salsa, Chris King, Industry 9, bike shops all over the place have been sending stuff just because we're friends. That's huge. A friend of yours is a friend of mine, vice versa. That's the way it is in this world.
What an amazing experience it was down there in Stillwater this past Sunday. It was so great talking to Tyler and hearing how he came up with this idea for the fundraiser, and great talking to Amanda Nauman, the defending women's champion of the Land Run 100, who will be defending her title down there in just a month away at the Land Run 100. But more importantly, it reminded us what the meaning of gravel family and gravel community is all about. The event raised just over $68,000 from the last total we heard at the end of the day Sunday down there for the Curt Dykes family. What an amazing thing to be around, and thank you to everybody that helped support this amazing cause.
So cool. So we got to hear from our good friend Amanda, flew in for that, and then of course Tyler, $68,000.
Unreal, man.
No, it's really cool. It just shows you what we call it our gravel community, gravel family, can really pull together for something like that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're a bunch of people that all have a common interest, obviously, with riding bikes. But then, you know, when we see somebody in our community that's hurting, it's crazy. I mean, $68,000.
Yeah.
Raised from putting on a little one-day fun event, 50-miler,
yeah.
To help someone out. So it's awesome to see everybody come together. Had a bunch of awesome raffles, too, that we talked about, you know, on the last show. And a lot of money raised to help them out. So it's awesome.
That was, yeah, perfect. So,
let's talk about this Old Man Winter. How did that go for you?
Old Man Winter rally. Okay, so I'll tell you right off the bat, it made me feel like an old man is what it did. It's cold in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We woke up.
What day was that on again?
It was on Sunday. Same day as the Curto-Dirt-O. I wish I could have been at both places, but just not going to work out. So
Sunday, I think it was 80-something degrees down in Orlando,
yeah, I don't want to hear
Florida,
about it. So, yeah, it was 20s when we started. Wind chill was in the teens, and ground was frozen. Solid layer of frost, snow all over the ground. Most of the roads were iced. Well, no, snowed over, snow packed over. Mm-hmm. You know, so even the gravel roads were brown, but you couldn't see much of them. It was mostly white. Which, for someone not used to riding in something like that, I had no idea. Does this mean that I can go fast, slow? So all I did was I went with my friend Smitty and my friend Jeff. And before the ride even started, I told them, let's just start at the back and let's just ride it out today, which is what we all wanted to do, kind of hang together anyway. But to help us mentally just hang back there, we started at the back so that none of us tried to jump onto a wheel. And you have the instinct that takes on, you know, and you try to go for it. So we started at the back, and it was a good day. It was a hard day. It was not what I expected when I went out there. So
riding on conditions like that, I mean, were you riding 38s, 40s out there on that snow?
You know what? I bought a 40 Ravager Maxxis, which is a little bit knobbier, and I bought it for the front tire for that ride. I needed a new front tire anyway, so I bought it for that ride. Did it help or not? I think it probably helped in the snowpack. Unfortunately, there was also probably 50% of the ride was pavement. And I can tell you I felt the knobs on the pavement, especially a lot of the pavement was either climbing or downhill. And it definitely, you could feel the front kind of give a little bit on the downhills when you're going around a corner at 30 miles per hour because of the knobbies on the side, you know, it just didn't have that. So I didn't ever really feel comfortable the entire day. And so I just rode. So, you know, I'm a numbers nerd, so I always have my power numbers that I kind of know what to expect. I know my heart rate and blah, blah, blah. And I can tell you that whether it was just because of how I felt, the extra 10 pounds of gear on me, because trying to stay warm, or just the elevation. It's probably had to do a lot with the elevation.
Yeah,
my numbers weren't anywhere near what I was used to seeing, and so I just had to. You just accept the day for what it is, and you just enjoy the scenery when you can. The one part that was kind of a pain and really hard to enjoy was they introduced 2 miles of single track this year, which would have been fun. However, it had 6 inches of snow the entire trail, so there was no riding on this. It was kind of funny because right before the end of the single track, they had a truck standing there, and they had people cheering you on because you actually almost had to do a switchback to get onto the single track from the highway. And there was probably about 2 to 3 feet of snow that was like this that you had to walk your bike over. Well, they were egging people on to try to ride up and over this real quick. So, of course, I went for it. And I'll just say that I had my one by on. I had a 44 ring in the front, and my bailout gear was a 36 in the back. So I didn't have the best gearing for it anyway. But I went for it. I made it over, and made it about 10 feet. It's 6 inches of snow. Yeah. So you just fall completely over. And the guy behind me was like, dude, that was so awesome. Until it wasn't, So that's how, and then it was like almost an hour walk, in my back. And so it would have been better if you could have ridden some of it. So, but the overall bike rally it was a fun event. So definitely would recommend it. So
yeah, except for the cold part.
Like you said earlier, what was I expecting? It's Colorado. We were at, I think, 7,000 feet of elevation is where we were. Roughly Lyons, Colorado is where it was. I should have expected it just to be freezing cold, and it was. On the descents, my hands, I couldn't be in the drops because my fingers would instantly go numb. Even with I had the heavier gloves on. My fingers were to the point where they were painful because you have that that stinger feeling. So I couldn't feel my brake levers. I didn't know if I was pressing the brakes. So the only way I could go downhill was to sit on top of the hood, so at least I could see my hand turning, and that would tell me how I was pressing on the brakes because I still couldn't feel anything with my hands. Bar mitts would have been optimal of some kind. So if I go back, definitely have bar mitts because, that hampers. If you can't feel your brakes and you're trying to descend pavement at 30 miles an hour.
That might have a little snow or ice on it.
And it's been treated, so it has the little rocky, sandy pebbles everywhere. And you're on a tire. It was not optimal, but it was fun. So
had a good time.
It was very painful. Yeah. So I definitely recommend it. It was 62 miles. So.
All right, so I've been seeing princesses, and you've been riding Old Man Winter, but let's see what everybody else has been up to.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks, Bobby and Neil. Absolutely my favorite time of the show as well. Our social media. First up, we've got this photo coming in from Ben Petty. Snow-covered trails, snow-covered gravel roads, snow-covered streets, snow-covered everything up in Iowa where he's been riding. Chris Hutton, our friend, sent in this photo. Dawn Patrol up in the National Forest there in Oregon. Alan Grant sent in this photo from the Mississippi Gravel Cup race number 3 in Ackerman, Mississippi. Wyatt Lowry was also down there at the Curt-O-Dirt-O in Stillwater. I do have to say we received a ton of photos on our page this week from folks down there supporting the great cause, the Curt-O-Dirt-O. Cole Ledbetter got in 92 miles in central Iowa Saturday. Gorgeous snowpack on the way out and some soggy, slow roads and crazy blowing fog mist coming back in. Great ride out there, Cole. Don Wood was out at the Arrowhead 135. Lori got in 50 miles in the canyons at Southland, Texas near Lubbock this past week. Savon Twilley was out at Covington, Texas, got in 30 miles of beautiful Texas gravel. What a great ride that looks like. Greg Gleason did a little swamp riding, you could say, down in Florida. 374 miles, enjoying 10,000 feet of climbing, 8 miles or so of swamp, hike-a-bike, 2 river crossings, 1 chest deep, carrying his bike over his head, 30 miles of ghost trail and bushwhacking, and topping it off with 100 miles of sandy single track and 38 hours of wet feet. What an amazing ride that was, Greg. Randy was out along the Missouri River out in Jefferson City, Missouri. Timothy finished up bikepacking, camping, and total slop. Still had a great time, though, from Carlton Reserve in Venice, Florida. Jen sent in this photo. Thawed, sloppy, sticky, deeply gooey gravel near home in eastern Iowa. Tim Johnson sent in this photo out riding in Morris County, Kansas. If you'd like to have your photo featured, submit them every week on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram following Gravel Guru. Thanks.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for those pictures. Again, we love seeing what everybody's up to. Some folks get some warmer weather, but there are definitely some cold weather pictures out there as well. I know, like you said, I'm getting old as well. Yeah. I've not been out nearly as much this winter in these colder temperatures that we've been having. But keep sharing what you guys got. We love seeing it. Hashtag with This Is Gravel, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so that we can see what you guys have been up to. Of course, you can tag myself, Minister of Gravel, or you can tag this guy over here, the Casual Cyclist, so that we can see what you guys have been doing as well. But thanks for sharing those, guys.
Listen to my podcast, Ride Casual, also on the gravelguru.com channel. We are doing the episodes this year. We're going about every 2 weeks rather than every week, in case some of you haven't noticed and you missed our announcement of that. So we have 2 weeks coming up. And I will say this, we are at the middle of February right now. So we are only about 4 weekends away from Land Run.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be doing for the next 2 weeks? Because you have a double-double at Land Run.
Yeah, I'll be doing a lot more running than I would like to be doing.
Yeah.
I did kind of sit down here after the injury and talk with a buddy that's a distance runner and set out a plan of how to kind of recover from where I was at, you know, to kind of getting back to where I wanted to be. And so it's some slower, more casual-paced runs, but then getting out there and trying to, you know, increase from the 7 miles that I did here before we left on our trip to kind of get into a 10 to 11 mile run here this week, trying to get up to about 14 here. And so hopefully by the next time we've done a show, I'll have had another run under my belt that's about 14, 15 miles and be right back where I was before the injury. And then Land Run is coming.
It's going to be right there. You're going to have to kind of build up and then start.
I can tell you this right now. I don't mind the running as long as it's like 5 miles or less.
Yeah.
I don't see myself doing any of these
Don't,
50
long
kilometer or half marathon things in the future. Boy, it's just, I mean, walking around Disney World all day long is hard enough. Then going out and running a 50K, it's just stupid. It was dumb. Everybody said it was dumb.
That's good to hear, because
hey,
this is a gravel cycling show. So that's good to hear that you're not running away from us there. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm going to be staying on the bike a whole lot more. As soon as this 50K is over, I think those shoes are going to go up on a shelf. They're going to be retired, and we'll see what happens in the future with running.
It's awesome.
What are you going to be up to these next 2 weeks?
I'll tell you this. This is my, probably until July, this is the only time I have a 2 to 3 week gap without a event coming up. I know. So I'm getting ready. As soon as Land Run gets here, it's off to the races and going. And actually, I could fill things up in the next 3 weeks if I wanted to be out of town riding. I may actually on March 9th go down to Cheney, Kansas for Rage Against the Chain Ring. They have a race down there at 60. It's 50 miles down there.
50 miles.
Yeah. So I may go down there for that one.
Yeah, I thought about doing that whole series this year because
Yeah.
the weekends actually sort of work out right now. But
it's a good fast race.
yeah, I mean, 50 miles, 2 loops is usually how they
Yeah.
do their races down there. They're fun.
So I may go down there and do that a week before Land Run just to kind of get ready for Land Run and one more last hard ride. And then, you have Land Run, and Land Run leads into, I have a disc golf tournament at the end of March.
How does that, is it the gravel show, right?
Okay, right. And then you jump right into Barry-Roubaix, you jump right into the Epic, you jump right into, it's just Macy's, Elrods, DK, Opal-Wapu, and just, so yeah, I'm going to enjoy my next 2 or 3 weeks of not running around.
Racing,
cycling around?
cycling
running around? Yeah, we talked too much about running. So can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. We're going to hope to have something about on the show one way or another, because Land Run is coming up and mud is involved. We want to have something about converting your bike to a single speed.
Start off with it that way.
Right.
Okay.
And then post race, what to do to clean that thing up so that so that it doesn't rust out on you. So look forward to those coming up. See ya.